Good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome to the Q2 earnings call of Singulus Technologies. Today's speakers are Markus Ehret and Lars Lieberwirt. They will walk us through the company's performance for the first 6 months of the fiscal year 2025. Before we dive in, a quick housekeeping note. The conference is being recorded and all participants are in a listen-only mode. We will start with the presentation and move on to the Q&A session. If you have questions, please use one of the following ways. Submit the questions by using the chat box, and we will address them in the Q&A session. Please make sure to preface each question with your name and the name of your company in order to be considered. You can also ask the question directly via the microphone. Please type the word question into the chat box to be considered, and we will open your line at the beginning of the Q&A session. And without further ado, I hand it over to you, Mr. Ehret and Mr. Lieberwirt. The floor is yours.
So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Warm welcome from our side to the first half year financial call. Thank you very much for participating. I hope you can hear me very well. Let's move on to the first pages. And I think, as most of you know, our company, we don't have to dig too deep into the history when we have been founded and what we've done in the past. So basically, you know that we have around 300 employees, and this is what we have done in the last few years. Please have a good look, and you will hear a lot of our strategy from my dear colleague Lars Lieberwirt later on. But please consider and bear in mind that we've been developing several new technologies in the areas of semiconductor, in the areas of solar and medical tech in the last few years. And this gives us some stability as we are working on the diversification strategically, as you all might know. Let's have a brief look at the financials of the financial overview and financial of the first half year. Revenues with 31.3 million is kind of slow. We expect to pick this significantly up in the second half of the year. Order intake was also rather slow with the 21.1, and this is somehow, of course, related to the global and political uncertainties we do see in the markets. There's a lot of postponement of projects been going on in the first months. We do see that the confidence of our customers is picking up, and we look forward to seeing some significant order entries in the months coming, and we will keep you posted on this. Of course, order backlog is about 67.2 million, and the EBIT kind of is plus minus zero. It's 1.3 million negative, but of course we with an improved utilization in our organization and with raising revenues, this will also be turned around into positive figures if the second half year is taking place as we plan and as we do see from as of now. We will discuss this a little bit in detail later on. Let's move on to the next page, which is the P&L. You can see the P&L for the first half year. Our revenues, as I said, 31.3 million, split up to solar 9 million, semiconductor 12.1 million, and life science with about 10.2 million. Yeah, so you do see that the revenues, although a little bit too small, are basically distributed among the three segments, and this is good news. Although we do see that with an order entry strong in semiconductor, and we expect it to be stronger in the second half year even, and of course see some larger order entries in vacuum business and solar in the second half year. The order entry of the 21.1 million should increase significantly, as I said already. The gross profit is good. So we are well content, although utilization is rather low. Also the OPEX with the 11.6 million is the standard OpEx is basically in line with what we assume. So everything's fine, although that the figures, the revenues are too low. So we need more utilization, we need more revenues. And if we have a look on the next page on the balance sheet, you can see that we also, sorry, this is still, let's move on one. I don't talk about the quarterly. This is what I'm looking for. Thank you very much. So if we look at the balance sheet for June 30th, we do see that we're kind of low on cash, and that we have to focus on the refinancing of our debt. You can see that our total current liabilities is rather high. This is because we do see that we have to refinance a lot of that in the next 12 months, as you all are aware. We have the bond, we have the super senior loan, and some other credits we have to refinance, and this will be one of the key topics we are focusing on in the next coming months, and we will present you also information on those type of solutions when we speak about Q3 and by end of the year. So this is what we have in mind, working on the refinancing, and this is quite challenging, but we do know with an improvement of our operations, as we expect it to come in the next 6 to 12 months, we also will be able to refinance what's ahead of us. Let's move on the next page. We do see the cash flow development. Operational cash flow is a little bit weak. This depends on also that we have to store some of the money for bank guarantees, which is not available for our operational cash flow. This is also one of the difficulties we see. However, with incoming orders, we expect to reduce the amount of bank guarantees we have to provide, also in proportion to the money we receive. That's basically from the key financials. Let's move on the next page. Sales first half year, as you see, a good distribution. I gave it already to you on the semiconductor, life science, and solar. We expect semiconductor to increase the second half of the year, and also solar strongly to increase. You will see the projects, and my colleague Lars Lieberwirt will give you some background on the sales pipeline we have, on the projects, and on the technologies we will be selling. And as the political uncertainties we do see about tariffs, about wars going on and trade wars going on, as we do see that this uncertainty is kind of diminishing, is being reduced, we expect that our order entry will be picking up globally in the most important regions, and this will give us quite some backwind and move us forward. Let's have a look at the global distribution just for the sake of it. Of course, Asia is very important, in the Americas, and Europe is rather small. We hopefully can increase that also, but the Americas and Asia, being China, are the most important areas to us. Let's move on to the next page. We keep our employee base rather stable, and that's a good sign, because there's a lot of churn in the market, and our most important asset is basically our staff, our base, because they carry the knowledge we need to build the machines, to sell the processes with our equipment. So we're very proud that we are very stable on this and can keep our staff base with a very low churn rate. So let's move on to the next page, and this is where I hand over to Lars Lieberwirt. And as you know the procedures, we are very happy to take your questions later after the presentation and discuss whatever you do want to discuss. Thank you very much for the attention. and I look forward to your questions. So Lars, the stage is yours now. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I want to start with introducing you updates in our semiconductor business, which is developing well to our satisfaction. We are progressing both on the expansion on geographies. We are expanding on expansion into foundry level. We have successfully qualified a very interesting new machine in the recent very few weeks, and that's a very, very major milestone for us that gives me a very good confidence that we are on the right track with the initiatives that we started a while ago. Aside to that, a lot of incremental innovations that we are developing within that cluster line, right? That cluster line is very flexible and modular. We can add and mix and match different modules to answer to unique configurations of our customers. And the team has done an incredible job to add certain modules that gives us more flexibilities, that have helped us to reduce our cost, but also most importantly, allow us to enter new application areas with the machines that we do. Our very unique signature that Singulus carries is that we have among the leaders in super thin layers of sputtering technology. And so we are looking very actively into those applications where exactly that key knowledge is required, and we can really make the best of our expertise. And that is unfolding, and I'm very glad that we are on a very good road. That allows us to go from magnetics also to other applications. Like I said, historically, Singulus is very, very strong in the magnetics and spintronic, but we see further new emerging applications. Further on, I would like to speak about our medical business. That's on the next page. We are still on track. We are working on also here to expand the use and utilization of those machines. They're basically, we write here, cleaning and deposition systems. They do specifically modifications of materials, and the team and us are working closely to work on further applications that allow us to use the leverage of this highly complicated machine. And that's one of our key emphasis also I want to stress during this meeting again, is that we want to bring the wet chemical systems and the possibilities for deposition systems closer together and build into projects that exactly require that unique combination. A further line of products in our life science section is the production systems of coating and lacquering components. That's also a little bit vacuum and wet technology, but a very different wet technology. So lacquering, we are adding lacquer and then building stacks of products. We see interesting developments in the market. The cosmetic markets develop nicely, especially in economic weak times. There is a high interest in cosmetics, and we do see there are certain trends to use different kind of polymers. So we adapt our machines to those new emerging polymers, but we are also actively working on applications like glass. Glass coating requires new detailed solution, and that's what we are engaging with our customers and expanding our offering of products there. Really key is our solar business. We remain very active in the solar single equipment and turnkey solutions for crystalline photovoltaic and thin film applications. I'm going to share that. So we are very well positioned because we do have within our company the wet technologies that are required for texturing and cleaning, as well the PECVD and the PVD systems in total. That gives us really a leverage to build an entire turnkey factory. And we show that on the next page is the ability to offer a comprehensive solar production systems for solar cells. I want to emphasize here, we are talking about cell production and not module production. So the solar cell, that's the key element in solar that turns photons into electrons. And we do have all critical production processes within our company that allow us to build and offer entire infrastructure. Such kind of turnkey systems, they take time, and we are very actively pursuing selective opportunities in that area. And we understand there is a lot of interest also in the market. Where are we exactly? You will see, and we are working to come to conclusions. It's a difficult climate currently. There's a lot of uncertainty coming from different regions of this world. Duties are changing, tax incentives to the end users are changing. There's a lot of development, also technology developing happening. So that uncertainty, mainly on the political decision front, is currently not really helping us. It's delaying processes, delaying our decision makings and engagements with customers. But we are confident that eventually we will be successful in that regard. One of the very key development are the perovskite and tandem solutions. What you see here is an area where Singulus is very well positioned from our experience in thin film solar from the past, as well from our wet chemical solutions. And what we are building here is a system where customers are looking for either single perovskite solutions, so that's a material combination that's also serving as a solar cell, as a electron, photon to electron exchanger, and is able to be installed as a tandem solution together with a crystalline installation. So that allows us to really boost the performance of solar systems to a very next level by offering complete solution in one package that is able to absorb a wider range of wavelengths of the light, and therefore boosting the efficiency of the systems. Singulus is building right now several systems. They are in our workshop, and that really will help us to comprehend our solar portfolio. Overall, in nearly every single machine, but for sure in every segment, we are driving innovation from our side, but also together with customer to further development and progress our systems, make them ready as technology emerges. And the example that I just shared on the perovskite and solar front is just one great example how we are able to leverage longer terms also this immense knowledge and technology expertise of Singulus further. A key strategy here is that's the next page, is to make sure that our technology and our business development are really aligned, and an area that we see as a huge opportunity, and we are uniquely positioned in the entire market is to offer both the wet chemical technologies and the vacuum deposition technologies as one company. And what we are looking for is this to pitch that unique, important selling point to unlock also market that require exactly this kind of a technology combination. We see there very interesting opportunities in solar. We just discussed about that briefly. It's an important application in semiconductor. There are multiple applications in semiconductor already today. There's a few new ones emerging rapidly, and that's exactly that technology combination that we are taking emphasis on. Further, there are great applications in energy, new energy. So if you're discussing electrolysis, hydrogen, carbon capture, can we go back, please? Those areas of battery, especially the next generation of batteries that are emerging now. Solid state battery is one of the keywords being discussed. that those markets and applications require exactly what we are working on. So I believe we are in a very good position, well positioned, and it's about going out and sell and bring these products to the market. Yes, we want to emphasize one thing is the battery side. That's the next page, to explain that unique selling point again. So here we are in discussion with multiple applications and different customers, and also different geographies on production systems that really combine the technologies that we offer, that combine the wet technology and the vacuum technology to drive key factors in battery adoption, right? A safer system, higher energy storage, less degradation, new materials, lower costs. It's really a very complex activity, and our team is well positioned to drive that, and we are pursuing active projects in that regard. So to summarize that, we are driving our innovation and diversification forward. That's very important that we yield and use the existing technologies that we have in further markets, in further application, but we are doing a very continuous innovation also to make sure that we are fit for future. We are commissioning in July, we commissioned a new innovation laboratory, chemical laboratory in our headquarters site. That's a very major milestone in our steps to innovate and diversify. That lab is fully commissioned, is ready to use, is already starting first customer application, and is also allowing us to enter into sample making with customers as we go. We have been working on that since a while, and I'm very glad that now we are really able to take it into full use. So that underlies also our strategic direction that I mentioned a few times, to go across all market segments and look exactly for those areas where we can bring the best technology combination to the market. So the key takeaways I want you to leave with is yes, we acknowledge we are navigating in very challenging times, but with a well-filled project pipelines in all our existing segments, also in new segments. So we do have a lot of opportunities in the market. It's a very challenging market currently. We see a lot of external factors that are very hard to forecast and predict what will happen, sometimes on a week-to-week basis, talking about tariffs, talking about geopolitical consideration of customers looking into their supply chains and how they want to move forward. And that's something that we are following very closely. But I think with the fundamentals in place, the innovation pipeline, proper diversification plan, we believe that we are able to be well equipped to navigate this challenging current time. With that, I want to close.
So thank you very much, Lars Walter. And now, please, if you have questions, and do ask your questions, raise your hands, and the moderator will then, of course, introduce you and allow you.
Exactly. Thank you so far for the insights. We will now move on to the Q&A session. Just as a reminder, you can ask questions directly via the microphone. To be considered, please type the word question into the chat box and we'll open your line. To support the technical process, please follow the instruction on the visible slide. I will put that on in a second. And you can also put some questions via the chat function. Please state your name and the company, and we will put your questions to the management. So we'll start the Q&A session then. Just Abed, Gerard is the first one who wants to open the line. The microphone is still muted at your end. Please unmute yourself and then you can go on with the first question.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Abid.
Morning, Lars. Morning, Marcus. So my first question is regarding the full year guidance. Given the current performance in H1, I mean, even with full conversion of the backlog, the top line is still under the lower end of the full year guidance. I know you mentioned that you expect a rebound in H2, but a question, can you still execute incoming orders in H2 with full conversion of the backlog, or what makes you confidence in achieving the full year guidance?
Okay. Okay, thanks, Abid, for the question. So first of all, we do know that it's challenging to reach the full year guidance, and we watch this very closely. This is what I said and what also Lars has been expressing. So as we are expecting some larger orders to come in the next few weeks and months, and as you know, we have the revenue recognition on the percentage of completion, POC, on the IFRS. So we do realize a lot of revenues very fast once the projects are started and we are in the ordering process for the parts and we do receive the parts. Then it's already booked on the project and will be occur as revenues. And this means that once we do see the order entries, we have about, let's say, 12 to 14, 16 weeks, where the revenue really picks up to 60, 80, sometimes 80% of the revenue of the project, of the full project. The remaining 10, 15, 20% of the project revenues will then take quite a long time to be realized over time, because it takes then a while to ship the machine, commissioning at the side of the customer, ramp it up and everything, get the final acceptance tests and stuff like that. So that part of the revenue recognition, it takes quite a while. So we do see a shaped curve where we realize a lot of revenues at the beginning weeks of the project, because we do not produce own parts, but we buy parts and groups for our equipment. And as our suppliers can be very fast these days, we can realize revenues fastly on certain projects. Having said that, it's really that we are watching closely our guidance. We have to see how the order entry develops in the next coming weeks and of course months, and then we do see if we have to adjust the guidance or we do make it. Right now, from what we plan and what we expect to come, we still could make the guidance we have in place. Yes.
Thank you. Just to clarify again, as full conversion of the current backlog is
no. There's no full conversion of the current backlog.
Okay.
We do need perhaps it's about 50, let's say 50% or something of the current backlog, and then the rest will be new projects to come. And as I said, these will be moving very fast because the customers already we discussed with want to move very fast. So we expect this will be very fast projects.
Okay, thank you.
The equipment, Charles, also for you, for your sake, and perhaps for the other listeners. If these are right now, we do see repeat orders with equipment we have already built to a large degree, and is already designed. So then we can be rather fast on that topic. So if we have already built the machines, and our suppliers are already do know, they have the construction design, and then they can move also very fast. This is basically the background.
Okay, thanks. My second question is regarding the investment tax credit and the US solar. They are planning now to reduce it significantly and phase it out in 2028. Do you see any delays or any impact on your demand coming from the US solar?
I want to answer that. Of course, there is, but there's this is more complicated because we also need to look at the customers and how the customers are using those technologies or the machines that they are, the parts that they are producing with our machines. So whether they are selling that to customers or they are offering services as an energy company, so they produce energy, so they're not selling the solar modules to end customers, but they're utilizing that by themselves to produce energy. So there's a mix of answer. The decision making there is rather complex, especially in the US. You have another tendency in the US that's maybe ongoing, is this, especially the southern states. They have many jobs in solar, and a lot of the states are actually quite favorable on that. However, they're very careful with the federal government, and it's a very complicated situation of decision making. We see that from the discussion with our customers, the investors of our customers, and so on. It's a rather diffuse situation what that takes. What I can say, and I want to close that answer, I see still a good underlying support for the technology overall, right? It's scalable, it's very fast scalable. You have huge land areas that are able to deploy also quickly. So if more electric energy is needed quickly, this is one of the fastest to install technology at the lowest cost. So I think it's still very competitive, and we just need to not react on every newspaper article that is coming every day.
Okay, thank you. And my last question is, can you clarify the timeline on when do you expect the new business areas such as batteries, perovskite to making a contribution to top line? I guess it was last time in 2026. Did the timeline still in place or?
No, I think it's still in place. We have projects ongoing at the moment in production. They're not the hugest machine, but they're also not the smallest machine. I think it's a good size. There's, especially when you mention perovskite, there's a huge amount of development ongoing on. I think the final direction is not very clear yet. If that is a vacuum process, or it's maybe a wet process, or a combination of the both. So we are in a very good position with our customers and those people we work with to capture that market. Either direction we go. So we stay confident in the 2026 guidance. And on battery, maybe that's another point you just asked. Battery is a little bit more complicated because there's even more development going on, and there's a very few very big players with very big pockets in the game. We are also here from the technology side rightly set up from a business development and from a sales perspective. We are in discussion with what we think are right potential customers, and we are continuing. That's one of the reasons also why we push our laboratory, our ability of customer sample making, right? There's a question on that innovation center also. So one key area is to engage with customer, to test very early, to test very fast, and have a chance to catch up in that market. And what we see, there's a very strong group of Chinese players that also sold significant equipment in Europe. We are seeing a trend even of some of those companies to say, who here and there we need European equipment. We maybe want to have some different thoughts on how to execute exactly certain machines. And we are of a view that is all playing into our hands.
Okay, thank you so much.
So we will move on with the questions from the chat box. There are several which came in already, and I will start with the first one from Thomas Schießle. He's asking about the improvements in order entry and asking, could you please be more specific? How is Q3 doing so far?
Well, with the order entry, as I said, we are moving forward basically. We do see some good negotiations, and thank you very much, Mr. Schießle, for asking. And there, of course, we do see some cluster in larger projects. So if we have a look at the PV projects, we do see double-digit million projects due to the nature of that type of project. So this will be the projects we expect. So the large projects which we expect that they also move forward our order entry and move forward our revenue recognition in the second half of the year. Having said that, of course, there's a related risk if you have larger projects. If those projects were postponed, this would mean for us, of course, postponement also for the revenue recognition, and would jeopardize then, of course, our outlooks. However, this would be only related to weeks or months. We'd report on that as soon as we have a clearer look on it. So right now, during the summertime, July, August, many regions are on vacation. A lot of vacation going on, holidays, and we expect now in September the business picking up stronger. We are in negotiation with several customers, discussing about contracts, delivery contracts, new machine equipment contracts, and we will be reporting on that in the weeks coming. So in semiconductor, we do see single machines in the mid-million, single-digit mid-million range, and this is also very good business. A lot of Asian business there. We expect also some pickup in the other markets in the second half of the year, though. Right now, July, August have been a little bit slow, but as I said, we expect business to pick up now.
Thank you. Could you also put a little bit color on the order structure? Is it repeating orders? Are there new customers, existing customers? Who is ordering in the current situation?
This depends on the segments. In semiconductor, we have repeat orders, we have new customers, but some of the customers are already seeing that they want to expand their production capacities. So we do see both in the semiconductor area, new customers, as I said, and repeat customers. This is very helpful to us, of course. As I said, repeat business is very, very, very important. In photovoltaics, it's new customers moving in vacuum business, new customers moving forward in those areas Lars has just described. There's some battery business, but of course there's a lot of PV business going on, and we expect that to pick up. And that's basically, it's for us known and repeat machines, but with new customers.
Speaking about orders, can you give an indication on the margin development in the current order book?
Where we always expect to keep the gross margin about the 30% range, and we're trying to keep that. That's very important to us. And in life science, sorry, I forgot life science. I just want to add something on the in life science. We have repeat customers with repeat machines, so that's typically, but we're also working on new customers in the life science area as we want to expand into other areas. Right now we're very much into the contact lens businesses, but we also want to try out new processes and reach new customers in that area also. So, but the margin is, as I said, we are working on the 30s level for the gross profits. it's very important that we can move up the utilization in our organization, which is too slow right now. So we do need some progress in the weeks coming and on the second half of the year to achieve our objectives for 2025. This is what we have to say, yes.
Perfect. Thank you. Two more questions. The first one is regarding the new innovation center, which was mentioned during the presentation. Is it for internal or for external projects?
A bit of both. So to me, this is very important because the faster we can sample to customers, the quicker we get our own hands-on experience and knowledge. We have more application feedback quickly, and we also can satisfy testing requirements with the customer faster. So we pursue an external path where we work with customers that we have historically not well served, especially on the chemical side, to pick that up. We did that a bit slow. With that added capability, we can accelerate now significantly. But there are also very few selective internal projects, interesting you're asking, where we are trying to bring us a bit ahead of the curve with own ideas, some own thinking that we have. We are very carefully to manage cash, but we do have some good ideas of internal projects that we want to develop to a certain degree, and before we are going out to the market and offer it there. And we hope that that's one of the strategy that helps us to change the mindset of the company a little bit, to change the approach to a customer. We are not reactive, we are proactive, right? We are able to come with a solution actively to a customer, and that helps us to shorten decision-making times with customers, to pick up on that pre-development, but it's also an ability for us to set our own tone and not react to a customer inquiry. So it's a very important cornerstone of how we are building that innovation and diversification pipeline, that innovation center. There's another question in that regard. I want to answer that also from Mr. Schiesler about the onshoring. It has to do with that, right? So interestingly enough, you see queries from customers who say, yes, we are moving production to Europe. I don't see that people are moving existing production. It's incremental production that is being installed in Europe, and customers are looking for different approaches to that. They're asking for different kind of machines, different processes. The question of security of intellectual property has been discussed in nearly every meeting. And there are also certain regulatory changes are coming. Cyber Resilience Act is one of the examples. So it's one of the query that we have from multiple customers to make machines more secure, to be able to do that under European or German partly data protection acts. And that's motions in that onshoring in the technology space that we very clearly see.
Thank you for taking this question already. So that brings us to the last question. But as a brief reminder, please use the chat box or the microphone to put your question to the management. The last question so far is, would you please expand on the opportunities in the hydrogen and carbon capture markets?
Okay, yes, I forgot that's actually part of the innovation center. It's a very interesting area. So when you talk about hydrogen, the hydrogen hype is a bit over. If you follow other companies in the non-China market for hydrogen, you see a lot of people who give up or gave up or are giving up currently. It's a combination of you see a consolidation of major players in that hydrogen industry, and then you see those who are continuing and emerging with designated solutions. People in hydrogen start to earn money once they take that hydrogen to higher grade molecule, and that's a general trend that I see. And carbon capture is one of the ways to do that. And Singulus is in a good position to offer solution, and we are doing so. And that's part of also the innovation center we are following is areas that we can accelerate on that, right? So there are certain wet chemical solutions that you can use. There are certain solutions that require deposition equipment, and that together is an area that we are very actively investigating.
Great, thank you. A follow-up question from Mr. Schiesley. He's mentioning the refinancing. Is there a capital increase in discussion?
Thank you for your question, Herr Schiesley. So, of course, there's all options are on the table. We look at everything which is suitable and possible for the next months coming. And we will see and discuss with investors. We will see and discuss with the debt capital markets also how the refinancing could look like. And we are open to all. Frankly, we're open to all options. And let's see what the next weeks and months are bringing. As I said, we expect some order entries in the second half of the year, which will be hopefully giving us the foundation and also the outlook for the future, that the markets can see that we have chosen the right path and track forward. And then we will be also working on the refinancing of the debt and see what options we have and what is best for the company and for our investors, existing investors, of course. That's basically how we look at the future.
Thank you for answering this question as well. As far as I can see, there's no additional question coming in, and nobody is actually typing. So this brings us to the end of our today's session. And I would say thank you to all of for your insightful question, and a big thank you to Mr. Ehret and Mr. Liebertwirt. And to all participants, we appreciate your time and interest in Singulus Technologies. We would be very grateful if you would share your feedback with the company. And for this reason, you will find a short email in your inbox with a feedback questions. So I'd say have a great day. And for final words, I will hand it back to you, gentlemen.
Yeah, we want to say thank you for your participation. We hope we provide the clarity that is there. It's a challenging time, but we are very proactive and taking that on. And I think we need to look for ways of how to navigate that and stay positive and make the best of it. We have good foundation. There is a solid technology. We now need to make our best.
Many thanks. Have a good day then.